Welcome to Simply Outside. Good to have you here. I'm back in the yard. It's a nice morning. We have been getting a lot of rain. Yesterday, actually, we got pounded on the farm here at my Woodyard. There is a creek, and I don't know if you can see it down there, but it is overflowing. There was a lot of flooding, widespread throughout our area, people without power. We were okay. But I wanted to get over here this morning. Sun's coming up. We've had some heat. It's summertime here right at the beginning of July. And I've been the last video I think I put out, I have gotten new loads, 4 loads from the tree service. I got them all cut up. And the last video had a bunch of logs, and I had gotten through almost splitting everything. There's just a little bit down here, and then I was stacking here, and if you remember the rows that were falling over, they were right here, and I've since stacked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just about starting 7, and I got all this to put in. But I've also taken 4 trailer loads home because we heat with wood, and I needed to restock. There's still a little bit more restocking I want to do, but just trying to stay busy, trying to get as much done here as I can, get things loaded up. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of wood here come for the fall and winter, and so I'll do the best I can. So I'm hoping to split today. I did process through all the bought firewood. I had bought 4 cord, and over time, and all that's left of that is this right here, 1/3 cord plus this pile. At some point I need to make a bunch of bundles. I have a few gas stations that I supply, and the owner of them all had told me he's probably going to need another load, which is usually about 40 bundles this week. So sometime, but it's probably a little bit wet. I also need to just split. That's kind of my focus. Is I'd really like to get this cleaned out, and then clean up all the debris so I can get more loads from the tree service. And my goal, it'd be wonderful this summer to get all of this stacked with firewood all the way down to the end. That's what I had last year, close to, and if you remember, I had sold out. So it would be wonderful to get this all filled up and get it all drying and just be ready. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is probably bring the splitter out and start working on this stuff and toss it probably over in here. I am replacing pallets. These kinds of pallets here, they tend to break over a year, maybe a little longer, and that's what I've got stacked up here. A couple pallets there, a couple pallets. One of them is still okay, but what I really like, I get from a solar company, are these here. They're just pretty solid, so trying to replace slowly and get them down. So I'm gonna go get the splitter and get going on that kind of stuff. With a lot of these rounds from the tree service, a friend hooked me up with another guy. It's just him and a couple of employees, and this stuff's from a full-on tree service company, and they have been giving me oak pretty much. Every once in a while I get something else, but basically just oak for the past couple of years. And the new guy came and he dropped Norway maple. He said it's a hard maple. Talked with someone else and they said it's a really good wood. So that's what's in here, and I've never burned that. For years and years, probably 17 years, I burned ash because that's what I had access to. And this year I'm restocking my wood supply with oak. I burned some of that last year, and wow, what a difference. Ash is fine, but oak just generates so much more heat. And so that'll be nice for us at home. All right. Well, I brought the splitter out, trying to get things set up so I can split. I moved the 1/3 cart, and I realized yesterday it'll work, but I put some new pallets down, but because I stacked this way, those slats, I should have had the pallets go the other way. So I might try and see if they'll fit that way. and just makes stacking easier. And this was all underneath, all this debris was underneath these pallets that I pulled because they're broken. And so I need to get that out of there. A few years ago, I had where I work, near where I work, is a gentleman who sells firewood, and he's pretty well known. He has got cords, hundreds would be my guess, just stacked in huge piles. When I was there a few years ago, he had 3 massive piles of wood. It was so impressive. And he delivers, but predominantly he's just got at the end of his lane various stacked amounts of wood that people can stop by and buy, and they really do. He sells a lot. And he gave me numbers. He was like, oh, you got to get tree service wood. It's free and great. And that's where I got started with tree services. He gave me some numbers, and one of them was real close to where I live, so I reached out to them, and that's been a great relationship. And but yesterday he called me, and if you remember me saying last year I sold out, I was just shocked. I sold about 30 cord, which is definitely twice the most I've ever sold. I was averaging about 12 to 15, I guess, for 3 years, and then last year sold about 30. And it sounds like maybe he's running a little low, because he said, hey, I've got customers that buy by the cord. Sounds like they're probably heating with wood, and he was wondering if I could give them my number because they are he's running a little bit low on what he calls miscellaneous wood. He separates out oak and locust, sells that for a bit higher, and then everything else pretty much is what he calls miscellaneous, and that's sounds like that's what these customers want. So I told him, sure. I'm like, I'm not sure how much I'll have, but I'll try. So that might be nice. So that's another reason. I knew I'd need more wood, but just trying to grow this and stay ahead of the need when it comes to people wanting wood. And last year was a cold winter, and maybe that's what kind of led to higher sales. Who knows what this winter will be, but like I said, I've been buying dry firewood. I think I'll probably have to continue that just to try and give time for my supply to dry out, and hopefully come 2026 I've got wood ready to go. All right, let's see. It'd be nice if these just rotate and slide right in. And I've got a couple more of these size pallets. They're big, but boy, they are nice. Oh, it's gonna be close. Yeah, real close. Hopefully I can make it drop. I have a mulch farm right across the street from where I live. So that's where I have to take all this debris. But I gotta pay, and they just raised their prices. Everything goes up. We'll see if I know I'm on the high end for firewood, but it's a lot of work to process. I'd like to get paid for it. So we'll see if I end up raising my prices, but we'll see. The guy that called me and is a big firewood seller, he's cheaper than what I sell for a cord. So even if he gives my number, these people may not want me because I'm more pricey, but I do split my pieces down finer than most others. I try to be a little bit picky with what the firewood looks like, but I know if you're heating with firewood, you don't care so much what it looks like. But maybe they would buy the cookies down there. That's good firewood, it's just not pretty. These are heavy, man. The solar company where I get these from, they said these are probably being phased out because they're a little more expensive to make. I mean, they're 2x6 on here, so it makes sense. And they told me that, and then they reached out and said, hey, we just got another shipment. So I was able to go get like 6 more, and they're down there at the other end of my wood lot. So as they come in, keep trying to stockpile and then replace these old ones that get broken. Okay, now I got a place I can throw the wood that I split. All right. Split a good chunk of pine yesterday. Filled my roll cart, or my push cart. But I'm sure it's full of water now after all that rain. I saw somewhere 4.5 inches in a town near us. Some other places around our county too. Plus, we're supposed to get more. Another storm rolling. It was heavy. I went to pick up one of our children from sports practice. It was hard to see. The rain was coming down so hard, so hard. Yeah, this push cart, it's 3/4 full of water. Yeah, there's a piece of ash right there. There's a few pieces in there, which is nice. I'm not sure what that wood is right there. Cut into it, it was kind of purple.